Hello, good morning. You are welcome to the Gallery TV. I am Opunjobi Samuel. I hope you had a pleasant night. I'm sure you did. This morning we are going to be looking at some newspaper headlines to see what we have for you today, so that you'll be informed, so that you'll be educated on the ins and things to look about things going in and around the country in general. And we'll be looking at some newspaper for today. And on the newspaper we have the Nation newspaper, we have the New Telegraph newspaper, we also have Daily Sun newspaper, The Punch, Nigerian Tribune, Daily Trust newspaper, and we have the Guardian newspaper. And starting, we'll be looking at the Nation newspaper. And what does the Nation have for us today? Let's take a look at it. And on the Nation, let's look at the banner headline: How Amotekun can secure Southwest by Afenifere. How Amotekun can secure Southwest by Afenifere. You can get the details of the story on the Nation newspaper. And below the major headline, NBS unemployment rose to 33.3%. NBS unemployment rose to 33.3%. And still on the Nation newspaper, how Nigerians can avert economic collapse by Okonjo Iweala. How Nigerians can avert economic collapse by Okonjo Iweala. You can find this on page 5 of the Nation's newspaper. And above the major headline, Davido, Burna Boy Wizkid Grammy is victory for Nigeria. You can find this on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Davido, Burna Boy Wizkid Grammy is victory for Nigeria. Moving on. Oshun, family of 6 killed inside mosque. Oshun, family of 6 killed inside mosque. You can find this on page 33 of the Nation newspaper. And still on the Nation newspaper, CBN directs banks to begin scan to pay system. CBN direct banks to begin scan to pay system. You can find this on page 9 of the Nation newspaper. And moving on, and now we are looking at the Telegraph newspaper. And what does Telegraph has for us today? And looking at the major headline, WTO frets over Nigerians' multiple exchange rates. WTO, that's World Trade Organization, frets over Nigerians' multiple exchange rates. You can find the details of the story on page 3 of the New Telegraph newspaper. And on the rider, Okonjo Iweala to rally support of IMF, World Bank, AFDB for trade facilitation. Okonjo Iweala to rally support of IMF, World Bank, AFDB for trade facilitation. You can find the details of those reports on page 3 of the New Telegraph newspaper. And below the major headline, School abductions declare state of emergency in education article. School abduction declare state of emergency in education article. You can find the details of the story on page 3 of the New Telegraph newspaper. And above the major headline, CBN federal government's Q4 2020 revenue falls to 2.2 trillion naira. CBN federal government's Q4 2020 revenue falls to 2.2 trillion. And still you can find this on the New Telegraph newspaper. Moving on, we have the Sun newspaper. And on the banner headline, Kidnappers attack primary school. Kidnappers attack primary school. You can find this on page 30 and 26 of Daily Sun newspaper. And on the rider, snatch pupils teachers in Kaduna. Wiki expresses worry over spate of school children abduction. Still, you can find this on Daily Sun newspaper on page 30 and 26. And below the major headline, unemployed Nigerians now 23.18 million, says NBS. You can find this on page 6. Once again, on Daily Sun newspaper, unemployed Nigerians now 23.18 million, says NBS. Wow, it's amazing. You would get the details of the story on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And still on Daily Sun newspaper, Buhari meets Okonjo Iweala. Buhari meets Okonjo Iweala. You can find this on page 25 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And still on the newspaper headlines, we have the Punch. And on Punch, AstraZeneca fears vaccination suffers setback. 5 more countries halt exercise. AstraZeneca fears vaccination suffers setback. 5 more countries halt exercise. You can find this on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And below, okay, and on the rider, Spain, Germany, France, Italy Holland course rollout. PTF admits global opposition to vaccine mounting. And over 8,000 Nigerians vaccinated, say NPHCDA. And you can find details of the story on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And below the major headline, Nigeria's public debt rose to 32.9 trillion in December, says TMO. Nigeria's public debt rose to 32.9 trillion in December, says DMO. You can find details of the report on page 18 of the Punch newspaper. And as it is, we are looking at the headlines of newspapers. And at this verge, we'll be going on a quick break. And when we return, I'll be taking you through the list of our other headlines. Bye for now.
In life, you can never be too sure who to trust. This is the story of Mrs. Ungazi. Mrs. Ungazi just wants to use the ATM.
Good afternoon, Mama. Let me help you out to your withdrawal. You don't need to stress yourself.
Thank you, but I can handle it myself.
The man is just being kind, right? He just wants to help, right? Wrong. All he needs is a good look at the pin. Will he succeed?
I want my IG fans. I say, sorry.
Do not share your card PIN with anyone. Keep your account information private and ensure no one is watching you while you enter your PIN. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Once again, welcome back. This is the Gallery TV, and I am Ogunjobi Samuel. We have been looking at the headlines of major newspapers, and we have gone so far. We have looked at the Nation's newspaper. We have also looked at New Telegraph newspaper, and lastly, we looked at the Daily Sun newspaper. We also we also considered the Punch newspaper. At this verge, we'll be looking at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We'll be looking at Nigerian Tribune. And what does Nigerian Tribune has? Okay, let's go. And on Nigerian Tribune, on the major headline, 23.18 million unemployed in last 6 months, NBS. 23.18 million unemployed in last 6 months, NBS. You can find this on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. And above the major headline, CBN takes federal government to court over Kama. Once again, CAN takes federal government to court over Kama. Once again, CAN takes federal government to court over Kama. You can find this on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune. Still on the Nigerian Tribune, Wakili, police call for emergency. Wakili, police call for emergency. You can find this on page 25 of Nigerian Tribune. Still on Nigerian Tribune, Vatican bars gay union blessing, says God can't bless sin. Vatican bars gays union blessing, says God can bless sin. You can find this on page 29 of the Tribune newspaper. And below the banner headline, troop killed 41 terrorists, rescue 60 captives. Troops killed 40 terrorists, rescue 60 captives. You can find this on page 8 of Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And moving on, bandit storms primary school in Kaduna, abducts 3 teachers. Bandit storms primary school in Kaduna, abduct 3 teachers. You can find this on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And still on Tribune, safety not compromised in use of AstraZeneca vaccine, PTF. Safety not compromised in use of AstraZeneca vaccine, PTF. You can find the details of the story on page 25 of Nigerian Tribune. And still on the newspaper, we have Daily Trust newspaper. And on Daily Trust, looking at the major headline, school abductions endangers education in North. School abduction endangers education in North. You can find this on page 5 of Daily Trust newspaper. And on the rider, federal government must act fast. UNICEF, ABU dons PTA. And still on the rider, situations serious calamity, TOFA. All this you can find on page 5 of Daily Trust newspaper. And still on Daily Trust newspaper, WTO concerns about Nigerians exchange rate, DG Okonjo Iweala. WTO concerned about Nigerians exchange rate, DG Okonjo Iweala. Still on Daily Trust newspaper, beware of COVID-19 third wave, PTF tells Nigerians. Beware of COVID-19 third wave, PTF tells Nigerians. And lastly, this is the Guardian newspaper. And what does Guardian has? Okay, and on Guardian we see PMS pricing, stakeholders laments government's indecision. PMS pricing, stakeholders laments government's indecision. You can find this on the Guardian newspaper. And still on the Guardian, gunmen continues unrested rapes, killings. Gunmen continues unrestrained rape killings. Still on the Guardian newspaper. And below the major headline, unemployment rises to record 33.3%. Unemployment rises to record 33.3%. You can find this on page 3 of the Guardian. And still on the Guardian, Khan sues federal government over Kama. Khan sues federal government over Kama. Well, this is one story to read. And still you can find this on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on, Buhari, Atiku, Mugalu others congratulate Burna Boy Wizkid. You can find this on page 25 of the Guardian newspaper. Wike accuses CBN of politicizing agricultural loan. Wike accuses CBN of politicizing agricultural loan. You can find this on page 20 of the Guardian newspaper. And these are the much we can take for today. And you can, for the details of this report, you can get this newspaper so that you will get more details, more information concerning what some of the stories are talking about. Once again, this is the Gallery TV. I am Ogunjobi Samuel. Bye for now.
It is here again. Are you an artist looking for a place to produce and promote your musical videos?
Or a content creator in need of a platform to air your program?
The Gallery TV got you covered.
At the Gallery, we provide world-class production services
Such as
event coverage,
promotion and production of musical videos,
studio rental,
live streaming of events.
We also provide airtime for your program on all our platforms.
These and lots of other interesting packages, all at an affordable price with a 10% discount.
For more details, you can visit us on our website at www.thegallerytv or on our social media platforms at The Gallery TV on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
The Gallery TV, we set the pace.